The objective of ranked fleet battles in Star Wars Squadrons is relatively straightforward. 2 teams of 5 players are attempting to destroy the enemy's flagship, but where it gets interesting is that each of these players are going to bring to the game a different playstyle as well as a different starfighter loadout, and this leads to some really awesome varied gameplay, and that's what has me hooked on Star Wars Squadrons. But what's not so obvious is the ranking system and how those skill points are allocated from win to loss, from good game to bad game. I honestly couldn't tell you how these skill points were being allocated, and it came to a head for me when I had this come from behind 4 versus 5 victory where I basically carried my team to the win and only got 31 points for it. And this made me kind of upset because just the night before I had an extremely intense game where I once again was carrying my team and nearly pulled them to a victory, but we ended up losing. And I lost 40 points from that game, even though I vastly outperformed my team and I got 19 kills. It felt a little insulting that the hardest fought win that I had gotten recently was not giving me nearly as many points as the hardest fought loss that I got recently. So I actually took to Twitter and kind of voiced my opinion about this towards the developers of the game, in particular the creative director of Star Wars Squadrons, Ian Frazier, and the gentleman was kind enough to give me a reply. What's up, you guys? I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and today we're talking about the matchmaking system in Star Wars Squadrons and why you might be encountering some really weird matches and really strange skill rating changes while you're playing your ranked fleet battles. Let's get right into it. I sent this tweet out to Ian Frazier, and the specific question I posed was, if there's one thing I'd like to see, it's a better explanation of how the skill points work. I have no idea what actually determines the amount of points a player wins or loses. And he replies talking about the matchmaking system and how that's actually tied to the skill rating. He says, I'll tell you that the level isn't factored into it at all, because it's not a reliable predictor of skill. There are level 200 players who are awesome. There are level 200 players who've simply played a lot. That, for example, what he means is you'll see level 200 players that might be in Valiant or Legend ranking, but also I've seen YouTubers who are level 200 but only down in like the Hotshot or Hero rankings. So he's definitely correct there. Just because you are a level 200 player does not mean you're as skilled as the level 200 player next to you. What he does go on to say is specifically about the MMR, which is the matchmaking rating. He says MMR is one of the key variables we do look at though, and MMR gets more accurate the more you play. That's a key sentence there. We're going to talk about that. Our latest changes should allow it to more quickly get people calibrated appropriately, taking into account several factors. That said, it can't work without data. It'll take time. The more you play, the more you should find the matchups to be good and the skill rating gain-loss to make sense. Some of the changes that we made should cause an instant improvement. Others really rely on folks playing enough for the MMR and skill rating to get more accurate throughout the community. Too long, didn't read. Please keep giving your feedback as you continue to play. So, what I read this as saying is that the matchmaking system and the skill rating system in Star Wars Squadrons is still brand new. This is a brand new competitive game with no prior game before it to base any of the ranking system on. So in algorithmic term, the matchmaking system for Star Wars Squadrons is a newborn baby with zero information about the outside world. And as this game continues to exist in the world, grows a community around it, and interacts with more and more of those players, this algorithm that determines the matchmaking will continue to develop and grow and mature and become much more advanced and be able to actually place us in equally skilled matches against equally skilled players and give us a proper reward of skill rating depending on the win or loss or performance inside that game. So the takeaway from that one is we basically just have to be patient. Star Wars Squadrons is barely a couple months old at this point, yet is already developing an extremely intense competitive scene who are dying to take this game to the next level. But we all just have to slow down a little bit, cool those jets, calm those boost kits down, and be patient with Star Wars Squadrons as it continues to gather more data on every single one of us that love to play this game. I did ask a follow-up question. I was very curious to find out how the rank reset at the beginning of the new operation had affected this matchmaking rating. And he said it does not get reset. It does carry over as a baseline to help the initial matchmaking process for your placement matches. But once those placement matches are complete, you will have a recalibrated matchmaking rating and skill rating to go along with it. Honestly, all this information gives me a ton of peace of mind about the huge fluctuations that I've been experiencing, both in the skill rating that I'm winning and losing, as well as these strange matches that I've been ending up in sometimes with players that have twice or 3 times as high a level as I do, or sometimes ending up in matches with players who were in Valiant or Legendary rank. I did run into that a couple times last operation. But as this game evolves, we're all going to encounter much better matchmaking, and I can't wait to see how this game continues to grow. I've been having a ton of fun experimenting with new loadouts featuring the all-new components that came in the November update, and I can't wait until the B-Wing and TIE Defender arrive in December. That's going to be an epic moment in Star Wars Squadrons history. And if you guys want to be there for it, make sure you click the subscription button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next Star Wars Squadrons video. In the meantime, I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and I'm out.